All right. Hello out there. We already got John out there. Right off the bat, you're going to see this smiling young man over here. It is the return of Josh for you guys, right? Josh is back and he's brought books. This is the Howler Mouse channel. Go ahead and thumb it up. It's already going to be a great show. Make sure you're subscribed and like it, and put in the comments there, man, because Josh is going to show some books, and then we're going to talk about the Superman movie, the James Gunn one in particular, man. So, what you been up to, Josh?
This whole summer's been a blur. I feel like we've I text you every now and then. I'm like, man, I need to go see Howler Mouse, and it's just not worked out. It has been one thing after another. It's felt like so. I'm
Well,
glad to finally slow down a little bit and get on here with you.
well, but so I'm getting another crown, right? I'm wanting to
Uh-huh.
get a crown, right? But I had a crown, and I thought when this tooth thing happened, I'm like, man, that crown didn't last 3 or 4 months. So I get into the dentist, right? And I go in there immediately, and I'm like, man, I just had this put in like November of last year. It lasted no time at all, right? So they go and they check my stuff, and they look at me, and they were like, when did you say you got that crown? I said like November 2024 or something, right? And they went, try May of 2023. I look like a complete idiot.
Yeah.
So yes, time has been flying by. It's obvious and stuff, but we always pick up where we let off. And you've been popping up in my Facebook memories. You know, we've been doing this for I think 3 years is what it popped up,
It's crazy. That's
hitting
crazy.
cons and stuff.
I
I
believe
think,
it. I believe it.
yeah, it's either 2 or 3 years, but it's flown by. But yeah, so just to let everybody know that's popping on here and looking at it and stuff, man. Every now and then, you guys have asked for Josh. Josh is in a situation. We're not going to put out any personal stuff. He's actually life is good, and now things have worked out to where you're going to be able to pop on here just a tad more regular, right?
Yep. I hope to. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's going to work out that way.
yeah. So you guys make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you thumb it up, and any kind of show we do, I'll put Josh in the title. And if anybody's got a suggestion, I've never
So it
done this
might scare them
before.
off that way.
Yeah, if anybody has a suggestion of what you can call the Howler Mouse and Josh show, let us know. Well, I've never done that before. So anybody wants to name a show. But anyway, Josh, where do you want to start, man?
Well, I'm
You're
going to start by saying hello to John. He's in the chat. He's always here. So I want
yeah,
to definitely shout him out. Um, I guess I'll just go ahead and we'll get right into it, buddy.
right on.
I'm going to talk about. I didn't get to go with you, but I went to Heroes Con this year. I was only able to make it down for one day, so I've grabbed a bunch of books, but I haven't read really any of it yet.
Well, let's
So,
slow down just for a second. How was Heroes Con? I've had mixed reports.
well, for me, I I had a blast, but I think what I try to get out of it is not the same as what other people have. The lines were pretty long for people who wanted to get signatures, at least on the day that I went, which was Friday. It kind of surprised me that the lines were the way they were. I can't imagine what they were
Yeah,
for Saturday. The people at the
they
PGC,
broke it. They broke an attendance record, which surprised me. Yeah,
it didn't feel that way on Friday. I'm used to going on Saturday. So for me, Friday was kind of like, very pleasant, I would say. Um, but for me, I go and I like a lot of the independent comic artists and stuff. That's really what my jam
Artist
is when I
Alley.
go
You like
there.
Artist Alley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of and I mean, if you're into that, it's the perfect show, and it's got, a ton of, dollar bins in certain places. Now, I will say some of the key stuff was probably higher
Yeah.
than like what you can do on eBay, but I think that kind of goes with the territory at this point. I think most people
Yeah.
know what they're getting into. But I think the CGC line was probably the most shocking because I watch a lot of YouTube and everybody keeps talking about graded books and all this CGC's dead, and every time I go, there's still
People
a
doing it.
line.
Yeah.
People wait hours just to get books graded, and to each their own. I'm not, I do like graded books, but I'm not going to spend my time there at the con when it's limited like that.
I set up on a street a couple weeks ago, right? Yeah, up and nobody's touching them. Nobody will touch them.
Couldn't give them away.
And I was going to sell these for 10 a piece. That's
Yeah.
it. 9.6s or something, 9.8s. And I found this at Dublin. These two at Dublin Flea Market. I got it. I don't know how much I paid, but it was like pennies or something, you know. And then I won this on a YouTube contest about 10 years ago. You know,
Nice.
so
Yeah.
nobody wants to touch them. So I don't know, man.
So what's been the feedback that you've had? Is that pretty similar to what you've heard, or what was the negative?
Uh, I think the negatives that I got is that first of all, Heroes Con is still a great con. I would still tell people to
Yeah.
go. So no hating on the Heroes Con, but a lot of people dipped out when they saw the pricing for tickets. And then the biggest thing it got is any signatures from a lot of the. It finally happened across the board. The only person, big name that you could really find. There's two of them, but I can't remember. But the big one was Mike Allred was the only one not charging outrageous prices for his signature. Everybody else, Heroes Con, Heroes Hard to Find, Shelton, whoever his social media person. I'm glad they gave everybody a heads up because they were reposting the price list
Yeah.
for whatever they are, the writer or
That
artist.
way nobody's blindsided, at least.
Yeah, and it's just it's ridiculous. It really is. Their mindset is that if you get a book signed, you're going to put it on eBay and it's going to go up. I'm sorry, but Carl Potts signing a Punisher book is not going to, buy my house, you know what I mean? So yeah, a few people started it, and I would love to know who's making the custom signs for their table because they're making a killing. That the sign guy is making a killing, So, but basically, it was price. It's price. It was price. They did not like the lines, and they could not believe that they broke a attendance record. But and then there's the people who had a good time were there just to hang out. They like that environment.
Yeah.
But money wise, they said it sucked. The vibe of the place still a good time. But yeah,
I will say this. I don't know. This is
the
probably a nitpick.
the parking prices got people.
Yeah. Well, see, I have negated that. I have a friend that
Yeah.
is around the Charlotte area, so I Uber in. So if I could recommend to anybody, if you know anyone in the area, that's probably the best way to attack that. But
I will
I
toot my
think
horn. I suggested the Uber. I'm just saying.
yeah. The fact that there's no tables to sit down and they're like selling chicken strips and fries, and you basically just have to kind of
They took the tables out.
there was no
Correct.
tables that I saw, at least on Friday. Now
Those
they did have
tables have
some
been there
tables, but
since.
it looked like they were reserved for like artists and stuff. And I think as the show went on, I think that they did fill those up with artists and stuff. So
Back in
maybe
the
that was
90s.
what that was intended for. But
Wow. Back in the 90s when I would just go on a Sunday and barely take my head out of the boxes and stuff, they had the tables. They
Yeah.
always had the tables. 2 years ago when we were there, they had the tables. Man,
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I was like, man, I don't remember. Which I mean, it doesn't bug me. I mean,
bunch of savages, man.
we're piled up in the corner eating chicken strips at Heroes Con. But again, that mileage may vary. There might have been tables that I didn't see, or maybe I wasn't paying attention to. But
Right
I
on. Yeah. Well,
but
again, I still claim that Baltimore and Heroes Con, they're neck and neck on the best one, but I put Heroes Con a nudge for being around for the longest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think Baltimore has really been going on anywhere near a fraction of what Heroes Con's been doing. So, yeah. But yeah, it's they're going to have to justify the money for me to go back or something.
It is pricey. The tickets, and again, I just did the 1 day ticket, and it was pretty pricey just for the 1 day. I can't
That's
imagine.
what I mean. It's unreal. Yeah.
And then you stack on a hotel and everything else that these guys are doing. I don't know how anyone affords it, but that's me.
Oh, I'll split a hotel. I mean, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't have to be across the street from it. I cross the town, 20 miles out. We're good, man. Anyway, I've steered this off topic here, man. What you got for us, Josh?
All right. So I haven't got to read a lot of these, so I'm mainly just going to highlight, kind of maybe a little bit if there's something cool going on with it. But I really got into the independent stuff. So there was a booth with 3 artists. So this is, I don't know how well it's going to pick up, but
You're good. You're good, brother. What's it called?
It's called Agora, and it's basically these 3 guys. They went to art school together. Their names are listed there, and then their social medias here on the back. Let's see if I can get that. Really cool guys. The artwork's really cool. I'll give a review on this one when I get to it, but these guys, they were super nice, super down to earth. That's kind of like what my what I like to do at the cons is meet these young, artists that, really just they're doing it for the love of comics. Like, I mean, nobody's making uh, a killing doing that. We just had somebody pop up in the comments, Tim.
Oh, you ready for one? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I usually take breaks to get all the comments in, but however you want to do it, man. It's my good fortune to view another live stream. By the way, rest in peace, Ozzy. Yeah. Yeah, I put that on my Facebook today.
Yeah.
I was actually doing horrible, horrible trainings online at work so I can continue my job after running, seeing people. And one of them was going on forever about bloodborne pathogens. I was like, dear God, will this ever stop? And one of my buddies texted me, and I went, thank goodness. And I opened it up, and all it said was Ozzy's dead. So yeah, not surprising, but he has closed his eyes forever, and Mama, he's come home. So there you go, man.
I don't know if I can even follow that up. I probably should have let you wait on that one. That one's my bad. All right. Next, another independent artist I found. This is Aqua Barbarian. It is an all visual comic book in this one. So there's like, some really cool artwork in it. The guy I will share either in the chat or on the YouTube video. I'll try to put his name in there. He is out of Jacksonville and he teaches like art students and stuff. So just really
Awesome.
cool, really cool artwork in here. Really unique. Really enjoyed picking this up. Anxious to read that. The disappointment for the show, if you want to know like what the biggest disappointment for me was, I really wanted to go and see this artist,
Okay, Kevin Anthony. Okay.
Yeah, so he did the cover for a Godzilla book I showed you at one point, and he did that a lot of stuff for the label is called Cosmic Lion Productions. But he got sick right before the show, so he literally canceled, I think, a week ahead of time. So I knew he wasn't going to be there, but it was still a little disappointing. But I was able to grab his art book, so hopefully, if he's there next year, I can get him to sketch
Okay.
something in it for me. So that's just an art book, though. I really hit the guys at that Cosmic Line. I don't, they seem to have a varied group of artists there, but I like a lot of what those guys are doing. I don't know what they would be considered. It's a
Like a
small
studio, a
comic
small studio.
studio, I guess. But they put out books like this one. Kind of looked like Conan a little bit to me.
Okay.
Uh,
Relic Hunter.
yeah.
That
So
that used to be a TV show with the hot chick from Wayne's World.
okay.
Tia something. The Relic Hunter. Shit, yeah.
So
Something like
that's from that same. I don't know how well it's coming through, but that's from that same publisher right there.
what's cool about that is that looks like something that would have been a bootleg Dungeons and Dragons game from the 80s. They
Yeah.
nailed the vibe. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and I think that's
positive.
you'll see kind of a theme. There's a definitely a certain style that really stuck out to me that I grabbed a bunch of. So this guy was. I also want to talk about, and it's probably actually kind of hurting my video quality, but I don't know if you can tell. So this is news from the Fallout.
Yeah, it's showing up fine. You're fine.
Okay. Well, the reason I say is because I'm using these Comic Clear
Yeah.
bags and boards, and I'm obviously not sponsored, but this is the company. I've been a big fan. I don't think I'm going to put my books in anything besides these. I really like how they present. I get the ones that have the resealable top.
Okay.
Uh, it does. I think if you have to take it off, it doesn't look as nice, but it just looks really crisp and it keeps a nice thin profile in the comic boxes. So the artwork in this is very good. This guy like seems to specialize in like black and grays. Just really awesome artwork. Really nice guy.
That's a guy from my own heart. That's a lot of my artwork. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
the ink wash gray tones, things like that. Yeah.
and I have read this one. I highly recommend this one. I need
Give a
to be looking for
quick.
the newer
I'll put you
issue.
on the spot. Quick plot for people because it's
So it's really about I don't want to like spoil it, so it's kind of hard. But if you kind of like Fallout kind of vibes, like
post
the
apocalyptic.
game, Yeah, but a lot darker than like what the Fallout universe, the Amazon show or something like that. Like a same kind of concept, I think. Definitely kind of like in the past, from what I remember. It's been a while since I read it, but just really interesting, and his art just really seals it for me. I mean,
Nice,
the black and grays are really just amazing in this.
nice.
Uh, then there's a couple of these anthology books that a bunch of the artists with Cosmic Line put out. So these are, it's
That
called Ghost Agents, and it's just a series that they've got going on. And it's, I don't know how well this will come through, but I mean, you get a ton of different art styles within the book. They are a little, if I had a complaint about it, the books are a little large.
yeah. Actually,
So
that's part of the appeal I'm digging, and it's a bunch of different artists, correct?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So like you got different artists, different writers. I'm trying to give you a varied sample here to get
Yeah,
just a taste of. I mean, like you get a little bit of everything here. So here's another.
I'm digging it. This it's reminding me of like old classic vintage heavy metal, just from
Yeah,
like
it definitely
the
has that
70s.
vibe. It definitely
Yeah,
has like that kind of vibe. I don't know if that's exactly what they're going for, but it definitely, I can definitely see. And I picked up actually 3 issues of these, just because I mean, like you said, I mean, it's just so different. I think
well,
the
you're
only thing that
also
bugs
at
me about this.
yeah, you're also at Heroes Con. That's the time to grab it, man, because you don't know when you're going to run across it again. I would definitely check those out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
actually, next time the stars align and we're, I don't know, got a minute to hang out or something like that, I would definitely want to flip through those. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, they're definitely, I think maybe I got them for maybe 15 an issue, and you can't really see it through here, but I mean, they're pretty thick too. It's
yeah,
not
they're
like,
packed. Yeah,
it's really nice.
trying to think what trays it reminds me of. Maybe 2000 AD or something. Yeah, I like that size. I do like that size.
I think for me, it's just a thought of like how, like I like to put everything in a bag just to
Yeah.
protect it because I'm out here in the man cave, aka the converted garage here, so I get dust is an issue.
Okay, so Thomas is all over this. That Relic Hunter comic looks like it could have been published by Eclipse or Kamiko. Again, a good thing. Yeah, I would go with Eclipse probably is what I'm thinking. It's got that feel. Uh, that Ghost Agents cover looks cool. I'm getting Steranko meets Darwin Cook vibes. The Steranko, that's what I was feeling there. But the Darwin Cook, he is spot on. Well
And I
played.
checked their website. I think they've got even more than the three that I got too. So it's something that they really seem to be
Yeah,
pushing.
just for people that's watching, what's the company?
Cosmic Lines.
Yeah.
I think we'll get to one here in a minute. It's got like a very prominent logo. It'll be easy to show it. So when we get to it, I'll make sure here's a. I guess I'll just jump into this one real quick. Oh, here we go. So this one, this is from that same area. Um, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, that's definite Akira vibes. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So it's definitely got like a 90s feel to it, is what I was digging, or 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Definitely an older art style. But for everybody that's interested, this is the publisher or the company that's doing these.
I'm digging I'm really digging what you're showing from
Oh,
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is like you're going to see that is the majority of my pool here. So I got number 1 and 2 in that series. I think it's called Karate Ninja. And again, I'll have I don't know if you can see the certified not Eisner winner on the cover of this. I just thought that was kind of funny.
No. Nice.
So that's number 2 right here. All right. So you got that, and then another book kind of had like a Conan vibe from that same group of artists and writers. Now all these are different guys. Like they had their own books, but then they also had the stuff that they were doing with them. So this is Ryan Tavares, Nomads. Just kind of interesting art for me.
That's James O'Barr vibes, my friend. That feels
Yeah.
like something right out of some 80s James O'Barr there. Yeah. That's
I was
yeah, that's a
seeing
comp.
that, and then think we're coming to the end of the Cosmic Line stuff. But the cool thing about these guys, if you buy a book from them, they're going to sign it. They're not going to charge you for it. They're
Right.
just going to, and I mean, they asked. It's not like they just sign, but they've always been super nice. You can kind of just pick their brain. This is Turbo Hawk. Just kind of had a cool vibe.
Very cool.
And the Comic Clear bags and boards. The only issue I've seen with them is occasionally I will have one that will rip down the side a little bit. So I know that some people that's probably going to be a deal breaker. But the way they present the books, these are their Mylar versions, so they are a little pricier on the bags.
Nice.
But definitely digging the aesthetic of those.
Nice.
You want me to keep rolling, or we good? I'm not. I just push our time.
Yeah, man. No, keep rolling, man. There's no new comments, man. It means they're paying attention.
All right, man. So I picked up. I'm trying to remember. You'll know it's Tomorrow's publisher. They were set up, which was good because
I've caught some of those at Books A Million, and I haven't pulled the trigger to even take them out to look at them. I haven't bought any either. I saw those at Books A Million.
So I grabbed the cryptology one. I was just more excited to see that they're still rocking and rolling. I didn't realize they were based out of North Carolina. So, somewhat of a, smaller company. I know that the diamond stuff had really hurt them, put them in a bad spot. They had indicated, at least on social media. So to see them there selling books. So I picked up that cryptology and then the back issue, like the DC horror issue.
Yeah.
So definitely digging that. And they were cover price, but I mean, I think it's worth what they charge for the amount of content that's in it personally.
Well,
so
the
really excited about those.
Anything for Tomorrow's Publishing, you'll probably have an easier time reselling any of that stuff than you will actual comics and the CGC stuff. Yeah. I have seen people. I've been to one auction in particular where it was a huge collection, and people were salivating over his magazine boxes of back issue and Kirby collectors and stuff. And that was a fight in an auction. They went for big bucks at an auction. So you hit, so those are definitely worth getting.
The guys were super nice too.
The
just
information in them is invaluable. The old interviews and the information in them, yeah. So you talked to Mike Urey. Was it Tomorrow's Publishing's table there? Is that where you were at?
They had a table set up.
Yeah, they Mike Urey just retired off the editor, a part of that, and it's owned by Roy Thomas. So yeah, that's cool. Let me get you off solo there.
I think they said they were out of Raleigh, is what they said. So not too far away. But definitely, glad to support them, with the diamond stuff affecting everybody. As another topic for another day, I was wanting to talk to you about Dynamite and some of the stuff they've got going on. Just I don't know.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I've talked to you about how hard it is to order new books anyway, and now you've got the main distributor is out of the game. It's like I don't know how to get some of these new books.
We're in unknown territory, at least for my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to predict, but I mean, as long as there's demand, somebody's going to be making money off of distributing. It's not just going to sit there. So there's no telling what's going to happen. But like I said, it's definitely a little piece of comic history we're living. So people need to pay attention to see how it writes itself. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. I just don't know. Are we going to have to order directly from a company? You know what I mean? I mean, that's what it could come down to.
I floated that out to you because we don't have a local shop around here. So
right.
It's just frustrating, like with my comic shop, they up their shipping. So if you're like me and you're really only going to buy 2 to 3 books, it's not worth it. I mean, you're paying more in the shipping than you are for the books most of the time.
That's why I don't get on eBay much anymore. The shipping is outrageous.
Yeah. There's a couple of series coming out that I was actually excited about. They're redoing the Punisher, or at least a mini series. It seemed to be. They got rid of that past logo. So I was hoping maybe, to check that out. And I think they're relaunching the Batman, like a Batman #1. But I'm like, my comic shop's not even offering the Punisher book, and I'm not going to spend $7 to get the Batman book. So it's kind of like, what do you do? I don't know.
Well, $7 for a comic that's a monthly title is ridiculous anyway. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I mean,
that's
you
just
might.
to ship it. That's not the price of the book on top of
Oh,
it. Yeah,
oh, yeah. Okay, I
it's
got you.
$7 flat, and then I think they charge you. I might be misquoting, so make
No,
sure that you follow up, do your own research. But I think it's $7, and then a quarter, or there's a charge per book after that. So it's a
yeah,
$7 flat rate, and
a
then a
handling
quarter
fee.
per book added on. So it doesn't take a lot to really start adding up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's people taking advantage. I mean, yes, you can say economy, tariffs, all that stuff. No, that's people are just it's
I will say this: they do ship well. I will give them that. I've never really gotten anything damaged from them. Unfortunately, I always do the monthly shipping, so I get stuff way after it's like newsworthy. Which, I mean, doesn't bug me. But if someone wanted to stay up on things, there's no. You'd have to do the weekly shipping, and I mean, you'd be looking crazy amounts of money at that
yeah.
point.
Well, I'm about to quit Gmart. I've got a bunch of Fire and Ice books from Dynamite that are over a year late. They've still sat there with the facsimile edition of Death #8 or Sandman #8, the First Prince of Death that got canceled. It's sitting there. I've asked for a refund. I haven't got my refund. You know what I mean? Is it DCBS that our buddy Anderson orders from? When
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to ask him because I don't know. I've looked online. There's really no
well,
one.
they have more than 35% discounts on stuff, right? They've got a few things where they've got a book that's you can get for $20, but I think it's going to be retailing for like 50 or 60. I can't remember. Anyway, I've got it but anyway, my whole point is that he gave me a DCBS is what I'm pretty sure it's called. And I feel like I should already know what this place is because he's bought from there forever and they have big discounts on stuff, pre-ordering even, right? And he gave me a back, during my birthday, he gave me a gift card on there, and I used it online. I did end up paying for shipping.
Yeah.
There was a $10 charge for something. I don't know if that was a shipping, but when this came in, I could not have asked for it to be packed better. So maybe it was worth it, right? But it's the Epic collection that came out earlier this month. Plus, I got it faster than the store I've been buying from. They have new owners, the last couple years. But DCBS got me with the discounts. I think the shipping was a little steep, if I remember right, but I didn't have to send my books back. Nothing was damaged and stuff, right? And this Epic collection. This is the era of Captain America that was going on when I started reading comics. This is the
Yeah.
story of Swine, and I love these Epic collections anyway, right? So this is from '76 to '78. Obviously, it was the Stepdad's collection I was reading, the Jack Kirby stuff. And this was an era where Jack Kirby still spooked me. I would have had to, if this was the cover of a comic, I would have had to have flipped it over at night, even with the lights off, so I could sleep, as a kid, right? But yeah, I absolutely love this story, this era of Jack Kirby on Captain America. And then the other thing that I do is I watch Amazon. Now, here's the trick with Amazon: their packaging is the exact opposite of anything that is safe, right? I've already accepted I want to have a book a little bit damaged when it comes in, and this was the same thing, but it's discounted so much that like it's what I have in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I'm hitting my bank account. That's what's in my pocket. It's my change left over at the end of the month, right? So for $13, I got my 5th volume of my
Mhm.
Tales from the Crypt.
Nice.
Okay. And like I said, they sometimes they'll throw it in a box and then sometimes they'll just put it in a plastic envelope, no padding or anything. And this one took a hit. You can barely see it, but you can feel it on the pages. So
Yeah.
there's like a dent that went through there. I don't know. It's like somebody shut a door on it. I don't know. But I mean, you have to look for it. And they had them. Usually you had the same two writers, Al Felstein and I think Gaines were writing almost all the comics. This one, they brought in some dude. Let me find his name, Carl Wessler, and I'm going to have to look up who Carl Wessler is because some of these are actually disturbing, but they're also sophisticated in this
Right.
little horror anthology series from the early 50s. I'll absolutely love this stuff, right? They got one in here, The Telescope, 149. And I might be exaggerating a little bit, like it's the second most disturbing book, but story I've ever read. But the problem is that it's from the 50s. I'm gonna go to solo layout if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
But in this one, basically, this is what I'm saying. It's sophisticated. This thing has foreshadowing in it, metaphor. But the ship sinks, and a guy and a rat are the only thing alive on 5 acres of island. And bless Jack Davis's heart, he cannot draw a rat. So I'm guessing there was no reference material back then, right? And they're both starving. They find one pot of water or a hole of water from rainwater, and the rat gets into it. And he can't touch it anymore. So he and the rat are just kind of looking at each other for days there. They're starting to starve. A seagull comes down, and that's where they have foreshadowing because when the seagull is laying there dead, a fish falls out of its mouth, but it never says anything. That foreshadows the end, as weird as that is, right? So these natives come by. Apparently, there's another island somewhere, and they run from the white devil on the island. they're rowing to get away from him, and he finally has it with he and this rat are fighting for survival, if you will. And he hits a seagull with a rock that you see there, and before he get to it, the rat tries to eat it whole. So the rat has the seagull with the fish hanging out in its mouth. It runs out into the water trying to get away from him, but he won't have it. He won't do it. He gets the rat. He drowns the rat, and it still won't let go of the seagull. And then finally, it actually said he ate it butt first. He got the rat and he just shoved it in butt first. And then while he was doing that, a shark comes up from underneath him, kills the shark. The natives kill the shark. And when they pull the shark out, it's the shark's head with the guy's head, with the rat's head, with the seagull's head, with the fish head, and it's Telescope. The guy, it's not,
It's crazy.
yeah.
That is crazy.
And I was reading this, I'm like, this is 1953,
It's
man.
dark.
And it's
Yeah.
got foreshadowing, metaphor. This is sophisticated writing, man. And I'm just reading that and I'm like, I can't share this with anybody about how great this is, but I'm
No.
positive Stephen King has a story where a dude, he had a briefcase of cocaine or something, and he ends up on an island that's nothing but a rock, with these illegal drugs, and he breaks his ankle. So he takes a little bit of the cocaine, whatever it was, to numb himself or do whatever, and he has to cut his leg off. And then he goes ahead and he eats his leg. And by the end of the story, he's walking around on his hands because he's just ate little pieces of his body to stay alive. And then with Alan Moore, we got The Watchmen with the Black Freighter. I feel like they've read EC Comics. Stephen King said he used to read them, so I feel like that might be a story that's had to have influenced people, or they had the same influence. As you can tell, I'm really excited about reading this stuff. So I'm in the zone there. And then I've had these, but I am savoring these. I'm walking through them. I finally get to read this last story after 33 years of having 5 or 6 chapters of it and stuff. But I'm reading the City at War, the last, issue 48 to I think 62. This ended the volume 1 of the Teenage Mutant Turtles. That ran from 84 to about 92. Yeah, these two collections, I'm absolutely digging them, taking my time. I'm actually just reading when I have time to read these. I just read a comic at a time to get through it, give that feel, the kind of like savor it and get it out. These are my turtles, man. 84 to not to two, to 92. Those are my turtles. And I really dig the Nickelodeon show from 2001 or 2002, the cartoon. Yeah, when we had Paramount, I was checking. We switch our streaming services because you can
You
catch
have
up
to.
on a weekend. Yeah, I mean it's no biggie, but they adapted some of the stuff from the first volume and from the micro series and stuff. I got one DVD, half of season 1, because it has the Jack Kirby Donatello story, which is actually right behind me. I have a majority of my turtle books right here. Oh, as I say that, watch me not find anything. Yeah, this one. They adapted this one in it for it was Jack Kirby. Donatello basically meets Jack Kirby, but they don't say it's Jack Kirby.
Right.
Yeah, everything that little magic rock on the pencil, there's a dimension. Everything he draws comes to life, and they get sucked in the dimension. And then Kirby passed away a couple years after that story. So anyway, but that's kind of what I'm reading. And I'm going to segue us there. Let's check out our comments here. But I really dig what you showed there, especially that cosmic line stuff. Let me see here. Oh man, we got a lot of comments. Okay, here we go. Hey Josh, those Cosmic Agent books look cool. He's getting the Stranko. We read that one. Here it is. I use DCBS and like it. Mark is ahead of the game there. So we got Anderson and Mark here. I think I'm going to start looking into using them.
Yeah.
I've got a few days here before the order cuts off. I barely buy we got Spotlock here. All right. I barely buy single issues anymore. Just the Jeff Johns image books like Redcoat and Geiger. All the collected editions from In Stock Trades. That's cool. I've used them before. And I'm also using a place called Abe Books. They're discounted. Some are used, but I've gotten great stuff from them.
All right, Tim. He highlighted a series that I want to double down on. Geiger, very good. I've read the first collected edition on Hoopla. It's that library app I was telling you guys about. You can read like 5 comics a month. So what I do, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. I've also got I've got the first appearance of Redcoat, I think, somewhere over here in an annual or something.
I'm gonna have to read it too because I really enjoy Geiger so far. Like I said, I've read the first collected edition. I don't know if it was 4 or 6, but I really enjoy it. So.
Oh yeah, like I said, there are still good books out there, but God, you got to dig to find them, man, and then hope that nobody notices them. You know what I mean? So they'll keep coming out. 40% off with free shipping over $50. That is, In Stock Trades. I need to delve into them a bit more. I don't think I've really looked into them since those Swamp Thing Omnibus came out. Smotlock. I buy most of the Epic collections. And what is that? Cow?
He's saying Cap. He corrects it later down there.
Oh, okay. It's my favorite line. Yeah. I'm digging the Epic collections, first comics, all those stuff. I'm finally getting to read. I like Omnibus for the oversized, but Epic collections are the perfect size for reading. I've been saying for a couple of years, Epic collections are my favorite trades now. They are just, I need 2 more to have all the Jack Kirby, Stan Lee stuff. I got a couple volumes of the Hulk, one of the classic Thor. You were with me when I found them for $5 a piece for the Conan. I mean, yeah. I see where. Oh, I got what he did. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Y'all keep the comments coming, man. I was getting those EC books, got behind. I've gotten all the creepy and eerie trade paperbacks so far from Dark Horse. Yeah, that's the next thing I want to look into. I found out they have those in soft cover also. But I'll probably end up getting a few of those. Those are beautiful collections. Dark Horse is just nailing it with their reprints. The Rat and the Surviving Man story took a bit from Tales of the Black Freighter. That's what I'm saying. Black Freighter took from it's what I think. Think. Even when I saw that shark pop up, I'm like, oh, Alan Moore, I'm on to you, And Redcoat is great. I think I have the first issue or 2 of that. It did not grab me, so I'm assuming it got better. It actually started feeling like this canceled show where it was Ichabod Crane. It was on around the time Bones was on. I'm trying to think of Sleepy Hollow. I guess they called it Sleepy Hollow. For some reason, I started getting like a weird Sleepy Hollow vibe, and I can't explain why, because it's not Sleepy Hollow. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was the time period, What is this? Dude, love to hear himself talk. Nick Lammett. Is that Alan he's talking about, or Jeff, or one of us? I don't know.
I don't know.
I like hearing. I don't rewatch my videos, but I don't mind hearing myself talk sometimes. All right, man.
I guess if we're going to jump into the Superman discussion, we're going to have to get on it.
Well, we'll segue here. So somewhere online, somebody asked, I wished I'd kept it because it was something official. And it really surprised me because I answered before I saw what everybody else said. But they were like, James Gunn did such a good job with Superman. What other Superman story do you think needs to uh, be adapted, doing an adaptation from, right? And I can't go back and find the original one because I ended up finding like about 10 more threads where people ask the same question over the last few weeks, you know. So I won't find the original, right? But anyway, I got in here and I said Superman Exile. This is after Byrne left. John Byrne revamped Superman. And then when he left, he still kind of helped him with the plot threads because he ended it with Superman executing some Phantom Zone criminals in a pocket dimension, and then the guilt got to him, and then he exiles himself in space, and it helped leads up to I don't know what number it was, issue 600. I don't know. It led up to something there, but anyway, it's in here, issue 600 of Action Comics, I think. Is what I feel like it was an anniversary issue, right? So John Byrne helped plot these, you know, kind of said, here's what I was thinking. And they have Roger Stern, Tom Grammett. A lot of people come in and it ends up, he's out in space. They got Jerry Ordway doing some great stuff. He rediscovers some artifacts. We see some DC aliens out there, people on Earth. Mike Mignola comes in and does some stuff. And it leads up to the return of Superman on Earth, relieved of his guilt, and George Perez taking over Action Comics. So to segue into the movie, I feel like this needs to be adapted one day in some shape or form, even if it's a cartoon. There's a lot that goes in on it. It doesn't read like one story. You got a bunch of creative teams, but they keep the plot in the thread and it moves along. You know, he's on planets where it's just nobody there and a bunch of volcanoes, and then he's getting beat up in space bars, and then he's finding relics from Krypton, and ends up on a war world fighting Mongol, and he ends up growing a beard and looking like a freaking gladiator. You know, I'm surprised he didn't say that I will have my revenge in this life or the next. He was like, you know, it was, you know, it was about, you know, I don't know what it was, 15 years before Gladiator or something. I don't know. So yeah, but for a minute there, it got that feel a little bit.
So just before we get rolling, are we going to spoiler alert, or are we going to try to stay?
We
I
are
don't
going to
ruin the
spoiler
movie
alert.
for anybody.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, hold on here. Yeah, Alan Moore's Supreme would make an incredible Superman run. I need to check if I ever did a Supreme video, and if not, I need to go ahead and do one. All right. One more. We are going to spoil the movie. I'm not going to play around. You know what I mean? It's been 2 weeks. You know,
Yeah, you had enough time.
Thomas agree. More Supreme is some of the best Superman ever. I've got both the Checker collections, most of the single issues. Yeah, yeah. The Supreme stuff is fantastic. I really dig it. And it was actually one of the series where, as it went along, it actually got better. Okay, JP Fawn.
Yeah, he signed off on it. We're good now. If you're
Yeah,
mad, be mad at him. Yeah.
and we're leaving that up. We're going to leave that up until we take more comments.
Take the pitchforks after him.
All right, I did my review. I love the movie. It's up. I love the movie. The only thing I didn't talk about was the soundtrack, which is a bittersweet pill for me, and I'll tell you why when we get there. So I've said what I had to say, and I want to jump in here with you. But what you got, Josh? What'd you think?
So I think and maybe this is why I apologize if I make you talk more. You know, I am not completely new to comics, but I am still learning a whole lot. Like,
Yeah,
I have a huge Superman background, so for me, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I had, you know, not a ton of expectations going in. I think I saw the Henry Cavill Man of Steel film. I think I remember it. I liked it as well, but I really enjoy, you know. I like James Gunn, like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I've really enjoyed those. So I kind of felt like I would like this, but full disclosure, I've seen it twice now. I had a buddy who hadn't seen it yet, and I'm like, well, let's go. I don't mind watching it again. It's that kind of movie. I enjoyed it.
yeah,
Just a good time. You know, probably one of the better movies that I've seen in a while in
yeah,
theaters, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. So basically, just to recap some of the movie there, maybe we can go through there in parts and see if anything kind of like gets a reaction out of you. But like it starts out, first thing is we're seeing that Superman can be hurt. He lands in snow. Everybody saw the trailer, and he yells for Krypton, and then we get introduced to the Fortress of Solitude, and you know, the Kryptonian technology, and his parents, played by Bradley Cooper, and everything. you know, and then we get to see the Daily Planet, and we get to see a day. You know, and that's what I liked about this. This universe is already in motion. He
Yeah,
lets you know right off the bat at the very beginning that what was it, 200, 300 years ago, the first metahuman popped up, and
yeah,
30 years ago he landed on Earth, and 3 years ago he came out as Superman, and 3 hours ago he got his ass beat. I'm like, yeah, and all this stuff. And so there's Lex Luthor and the villains, Ultraman, and all these characters coming in. And then we see the Daily Planet, and basically this is a great introduction. That's the thing about it. This is supposed to be a Superman movie, but basically this is exposition for something that's coming. Okay, and it's coming out that here's the world, everything is in motion, these are all the heroes. They showed a scene where Guy Gardner is eating Fruity Pebbles in a diner, and what is so quiet about that one little 5-second scene is that everybody's used to it. So heroes have been around. That's what's cool. We're not starting at the beginning, and we don't need that anymore, right? And then we get introduced to the Justice Gang. A kaiju's going on. Lex Luthor is bobbing and weaving. He's running the show. He's using that mind. We get the comic book Lex Luthor, mixed in with a little John Byrne, where he's working with the government and trying to manipulate things. We see Rick Flag Sr., the father of Rick Flag that the Peacemaker killed in the Suicide Squad, and also from Preacher Commandos. We get a kaiju fight where Superman saves a squirrel and a little girl and everybody, but the Justice Gang of Mr. Terrific, who stole the show,
yeah.
Guy Gardner, who today at work somebody said he was the best thing in the movie. Guy Gardner.
I
That's
will
what
admit, I was worried that he was going. He could have definitely slid into the cringy part, but the second time watching it, I actually enjoyed him way more than even the first time watching it.
See, this is what I wanted out of everything. We get a Superman movie, then I hear about the cast, and we got Nathan Fillion playing Guy Gardner, and we watch Castle regularly in this house, his TV show, right? I know Nathan from the 90s when it was two girls. For people that don't know, Guy Gardner and Deadpool were on a TV show together in the 90s. You can figure that one out. I think it was two girls and two guys, one girl in a pizza joint or something. I don't know. It's something called it's there's a reason you won't remember it, unless you were there. Anyway, but yeah, but we have a Superman movie. It's going to be James Gunn. I know it's going to be good. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, the world gets to meet Guy Gardner. And when I saw the haircut, I'm like, they're doing it. And so that was what I was excited about, because I was 12, 12 when I was introduced to Guy Gardner. So feel like I've grown up with him in a lot of my comics and stuff. Yeah, I even have a few issues of the Warrior stuff, which was we just need to forget that era and pop up to where he became a Red Lantern and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, there's kaiju stuff going on. Lex Luthor manipulating people, trying to, and he actually does it. He and the engineer and everybody is able to turn the world against Superman because he's an alien, and this is what supposedly got people mad online. And they're like, and I think people were really just trying to find something to be mad about more than they're actually mad. But Superman got hope from replaying the message, the hologram message from his parents.
Yeah.
But some of it was lost. Well, the engineer from the Authority is able to bring the rest of it out. And supposedly it says that he is supposed to repopulate the planet by getting a harem and rule over Earth and mate with a whole bunch of Earth women so they can get their genes of Kryptonian there and make them a stronger race that he rules or something. And I'm just sort of like, yeah, they put it out there to the world and everything, but he is still Superman. He goes home to Ma and Pa Kent at some point because he's got to get over his kryptonite radiation poisoning. I'm going to gloss over the pocket dimension, Mr. Terrific's great battle, seeing Metamorphos. It's not Metamorpho like he is in the comics, personality wise, but power wise, squiggly arm wise, a cloud of gas with a head wise. It's all there from the comics. But then we get to Ma and Pa Kent because he needs to rest for a few days to get over his kryptonite poisoning. And this is the part where you sent me the message. Am I right?
Yeah,
This
that's the only
no,
that's the only
Ma and Pa Kent.
Yeah, I don't. It seems to be like, and I know James Gunn's in California. It does seem like that is kind of the go-to for Middle America, kind of with him. I feel like I've seen it before in some of his films, but it definitely like when she's screaming in the phone in the beginning. I'm like, come on, like I don't know anyone that screams in the phone like that. I don't know. That's the only part that really I'm like just a little over the top, and like the dad's speech pattern was just like kind of weird. But as far as like the message that the parents have, I love that. And
Yeah.
you know, we'll get to the end in a little bit, but I really like how he wrapped it all back in. But I'm not as familiar with Metamorpho, so like that character was just really cool to watch. As someone who doesn't have like a ton. I feel like I've seen him on comic covers, but I've never really read anything with him in it. So it was very cool to see.
On,
You
on
know,
Instagram, I've got a
something new.
Batman and the Outsiders hieroglyphic cover from the 80s. 80, I was probably about 11 or 12 when that came out. Well, probably like 80, if I had to guess 84. I put it on Instagram and it was just a cover I pulled out of a box, and I got more likes on it than like my high dollar Alan Moore stuff. No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Well, basically, the thing with Monpa Kent, when they had him being all countrified, if you will,
yeah,
I kind of rolled with it, because it is a cartoon and being all hick and stuff is what they were making him. I'm like, good God, they're from Kansas, not Arkansas, and
yeah,
that's not a slight. I was really like, just rolling with it, making light of it, because you hear how I talk, and
yeah.
I think my accent's definitely much thicker than yours if you even have one. I can't tell,
Mm.
you know. But I kind of rolled with it because the performance of Pa Kent, the way he mushed over and talked to uh, you
Oh
know
yeah, speech on the
Clark.
front porch was fine. The speech on the
Yeah,
front porch.
and that's what I was trying to get at, because like I don't want to put down any of the other Pa Kents, but it was, if there's something there. I don't know if it's a generational thing, but in the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, it was still soft and very nice and things like that. But there's something about that Pa Kent was still sort of in shape, even though being elderly. You got the idea that it was more of a, the men were different back then. He was still working. It's a subtle thing. It's things you just pick up on when you pick it apart. And this Pa's a little bit older and heavier set, and they're screaming into phones and stuff. I get it. I get it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? But he seemed, there's something. There's just a compassion and a caring that was
yeah,
there. That it's an it factor. You know what I mean? It was excellent acting with that. He had to play that dumb yet have all that come out. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So yeah, did really well. And that's nitpicking and stuff. Now, Metamorpho, you actually might like him. He was actually sort of a little bit of a Indiana Jones type in a way. Basically, Simon Stagg owns a corporation, and you saw that. When I saw Stagg Industries and they were walking around the lobby, I was like, my God, they're doing it. And for a split second towards the end, you will see Metamorpho sitting with a blonde haired lady and his kid. That's Sapphire Stag. I have not seen her since about 1980. I'm going to say 1990 in the Justice League Europe things, but that was his girlfriend. She was a dumb blonde, and
Mm.
Simon Stagg was her dad, and he's a bad guy, and he had a thought out caveman named Java that he expected her to marry. So they sent him off. They sent I'm going blank here. Simon, whatever Metamorpho's real name is, I know it by the Rex. They send Rex out to, if you recover the orb of Ra for me, you can marry my Sapphire. And it really was like they were hoping he would die while he was
Yeah,
there. He passed out in the pyramid. The orb came out, and he got transformed by the orb into Metamorpho. And he was
mm.
a freak, and Sapphire still loved him. So you're playing with a little bit of the monster, the Beauty and the Beast, the
Yeah,
thing, and Alicia Masters thing and stuff, right? And he popped up in Brave and the Bold. Rona Frandon was co-writer, co-creator of her. He had his own little series in the 60s. It was kind of goofy and stuff. And then I discovered him in some World's Finest in the late 70s, but really discovered him in Batman the Outsiders in '83. And he's always had his fans. There's also a female version of her, Element Girl, who got killed off in the Sandman series. Sandman did a one-shot story where she meets death. And it's a real downer. You know what I mean? It's like it's a real downer of a story, but she would use she was able to make her face. She found the chemicals to make it look like her face look normal, But if she talked to somebody for too long, it would fall off, and she would just use that as an ashtray. You know, like, so. Oh man, but yeah, they got that part right. Are we? I see you looking, reading.
Yeah,
We
there's
got
a
a lot
lot
of.
of comments.
Let me see here. You want me to do some comments, or you want to keep
Yeah, let's
talking?
run through the comments real quick.
All right. Me and my son loved the Superman movie. I thought it was fantastic. Everybody in the theater that I could tell liked it. I actually tried to. I asked two people while they were walking out what they thought. They said they loved it. My wife said I was weird, and I'll talk to anybody. Greetings. I enjoyed the movie. People noticed the All Star Superman influence, but I think they took the Dome of Angsty New 52 version too. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. See, that's what I'm worried about with the Supergirl movie. I'm trying
Yeah,
to.
yeah. I guess we can get into
Yeah.
that at the end here.
I thought his mom was Lady Gaga, but it wasn't. That would have been funny. What was that movie they were into where they redid The Rose or something? Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga were actually in a movie together, and it was like
I know you're talking
Superstar.
about. I can't think
I
of the
never
name.
watched it, but that would have been hilarious. Yeah. It was like opening an ongoing comic. Exactly. That's exactly what it felt like. That's why, yeah. I really enjoyed the movie. I wasn't crazy over Metamorpho's voice. Yeah, I mean, they really baited him. Is that a good term I would say? I thought it'd be more gravely based on reading the Batman The Outsiders. Yeah, I mean, he really was, in my mind, more of the Indiana Jones type, Metamorpho's voice was weird. I didn't realize the actor was Hank from the show Barry. I know the actor, but I don't recall watching anything. Two guys, girls, and one cup. Close enough. One of the themes was cancel culture, which was lost on those idiots screaming woke. Yeah, that was not woke. And to me, that was them trying to do the reverse psychology, the dick
Yeah.
twist, if you will, of like, we're going to ruin this movie by telling people it was woke. You want to know how you know a movie isn't woke? When it doesn't go broke. If it didn't go broke, it's not woke. Superman's first meeting with Manchester Black and Lee would also be a great basis for a Supes film. What's wrong with Truth, Justice in America anyway? Action 775. I got 2 copies of that, and I'm hoping they sort of recreate that comic with the actual Authority. You know what I mean? The Manchester Black and the Elite, for people who don't know, were sort of DC's version of the Authority. I had that record with the DC songs from the 70s, Metamorpho. You're not going to believe this, but I think I might have it, and I found it in an antique shop in your hometown if I have that. That sounds familiar. I don't know. I could be imagining things. That speech made me tear up. There's a few emotional parts in there, definitely with the dad and his, yeah. In the comics, the Rex Metamorpho Mason has a more of a Ben Grimm attitude. Fair enough. I can go with that. With the Terrifics, he is the Ben Grimm of the group. Do you know what the Terrifics are, Josh?
I feel like I've heard it, but I don't think I've read anything.
Fantastic Four did not, due to all the movie stuff, Marvel did not have a Fantastic Four book, right? So Jeff Lemire was like, hey, we'll do a Fantastic Four. And he used Mr. Terrific as Ben, as Reed, Metamorpho as Ben, Phantom Lady, a version of a Phantom Lady for Invisible Girl from the Legion. That's a whole thing. And Plastic Man for Reed Richards. So I'm expecting Plastic Man to pop up at some point in these movies. I really am, I couldn't be more proud. Yeah. Oh my God. That's good. Yep. JLE last. Yep. I'm glad DC finally got the whole JLI and JLE run collected. Bought all 3 Omnis, even though I had to go in a single issue. I bought them off the stand from day one, starting with Legends. That was my high school, brother. I got all 60. I got them. Yeah. The only thing I need to get is a few more issues of JLA Justice League Quarterly, and I have the entire Giffen DeMantis thing. I even got the Dr. Fate miniseries series finally. A Star is Born. That was it. Thank you, Smotlock. Yeah, but Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, I would have been laughing. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been laughing. So Lex Luthor has made a dimension, and Mr. Terrific was so good in this because Lois Lane is like, they have the Hall of Justice from the Super Friends cartoon in it. That's the Justice Gang's headquarters with Hot Girl in it. That's who I forgot to mention. And she's like, screw you guys. They don't want to help and all this stuff, right? And they all know that their secret identities are nothing. Apparently, they're shared amongst all the heroes, if you
Yeah.
will. And Guy Gardner tries to take a shot at Lois for not realizing it's Clark Kent. He doesn't know that she knows, And she takes a shot at his haircut, and that's where we saw a little bit of Guy Gardner there. Like, what did you say, lady? Like this haircut. What'd you say about this haircut? This is a classic, or whatever. So Mr. Terrific decides to help. We get our goofy little Terrific mobile and all this stuff, flying around, and then they track Clark more or less down to an island run by with Lex Luthor's people. And on this island, they have a portal, a la Stargate, if you will, that leads to a pocket dimension where there's no sun. People tried to get me on this online. They were like, "You expect us to?" They were trying to put down the movie and stuff, and I was like, they were like, I can't remember what they were saying. They were like they have internet in that pocket dimension. I was like, you had no problem with the fact they had electricity. I was like, period. You're telling me they can't have internet? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they've done is that Lex Luthor has all his ex-girlfriends and anybody that was ever against him in these cubicles, these glass cubes, and they're all stacked up each other. It's a prison. There's no jurisdiction there. You know what I mean? And this was the part that I loved. Superman was having a problem with social media when Lois Lane interviewed him and really attacked him for what he did, stopping a war and saving lives and stuff. And he was like, people got online and I don't read that stuff. She's like, you didn't like the hashtag super shit, did you? He was like, no, I didn't. So it turns out Lex Luthor has altered the brains or put these mechanisms on that, like, what was it like? I don't know what it was, like 50 monkeys. And they're all the ones on Twitter
typing away.
being trolls and hashtagging super shit and all that stuff, right? So, yeah, I mean, James Gunn's got a shot in there. You know what I'm saying? And this is where we find out that Metamorpho is being used because in a cubicle, I'm going to call them cubicles, whatever, right across from him is his baby. And he does have that baby. In the comic books, though, if you weren't related to the Metamorpho baby, when it touched you, you melted into your chemicals, your elements. You dissolved like the Wicked Witch of the West getting.
So that guard would have a bad day, basically.
Yeah. So I was wondering if they were going to go that way, but that would have slowed down the story. And that's actually what made Simon Stagg chill out because he was scared to death to touch his grandbaby. And when he did, he didn't get dissolved into nothing. You know what I mean? And he could touch his and he softened up, But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, we find out that Metamorpho is there to make the kryptonite. And then because they're holding this baby right in front of him, like, you better put Superman down with this kryptonite element and all this stuff. So Superman talks him into him in kindness and is like, I'll help and all this stuff. And then we get to see Metamorpho redeem himself by making the sun. He knows I can make something sunlight. And we get and that was the thing. I loved how they played with the idea of the solar radiation. That is straight out of the comics. They have stories of Superman on planets with blue suns and how that affects them. Red suns, his power level goes. I really haven't seen it used since Dan Jurgens did his Superman Aliens crossover. I don't know, So what did you think of all that stuff? I mean, I would.
I think the comments actually talk about the Mr. Terrific scene. I think that's probably one of the coolest scenes from the movie.
Walk us through that, man. When he lands on the
so
island.
they get on the beach. Is it like a force field he puts around Lois? Is that basically what that is?
His T spheres. Yeah. His
he comes out, and I mean, just there's one of the like just researcher guys, like just plainclothes guy, like runs by the front of the bubble there and just takes one right to the dome. And I don't know that particular guy makes that whole scene for me because it looks like it legitimately hits him. Like,
he has the T spheres and nanobite technology. And what I liked is they were like, "How'd you find Superman?" He's like, "I'll put nanobites in him." He's like, "We do that." He's like, "I do that to everybody."
Yeah.
So
the realization that they have them in them too. So.
In the theater that I was in, I have not seen a reaction like that since Yoda pulled out his lightsaber and took on Count Dooku. When Mr. Terrific did that, nobody saw it coming. Those T spheres, the coordination, protecting Lois, and Lois was the audience with her watching it like,
Yeah.
whoa, and stuff like that. That was the movie moment that I don't care what else happened in the movie, that stole the show. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I will go on record as saying when they're having the serious conversation and Green Lantern's hitting whatever monster's up in the air with a baseball bat, you just hear like the thum thum thum. That
He's like,
was pretty
that's
good.
just a pocket dimension imp. They got that,
Yeah,
Lois.
they
Now
got
let's
that.
keep
Yeah, don't
talking.
worry about that. Let's talk about this.
So anyway, they rescue Superman. He's still got the kryptonite radiation poison. There's all these great graphics and black holes and everything in the pocket dimension. And Mr. Terrific is informing us that like if he was off by one calculation, there'd be a black hole where the Earth was supposed to be. That's why you don't open pocket dimensions. He was actually had a little bit of a humor with it, with being so disgusted with science. You know what I mean? Being used this way. And of course, everybody gets saved by the hair of their teeth, even the dog. And what do we have Crypto do with the T spheres? He's a dog. Those look
True.
like little balls.
Dude, that face, like exactly if you've been around dogs, you know exactly what's going to happen when he tilts that head and just sees it. You know it's game over.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, oh no, those are expensive. But anyway, yeah, yeah.
that's why
So
people like upset that Superman basically uses his breath to push himself away from the black hole. And I'm
they're like
like,
right
so,
in the black,
so that bothers you, but like the fact that they're in this like anti-material like river or whatever that should destroy them.
anti-proton, whatever
Yeah,
river. But yeah. See, the thing about it is, it's not that the air is pushing off a wall. It's that it's pushing you. You're using the
yeah,
breath to push you. It's how I'm not the big engineer here, but that's how some planes work. I hate to tell people that, you
yeah.
know, like so yeah, the black hole's right there and the anti-proton thing there. But I tell you what, when you're able to put me in one and prove to me it doesn't work, we'll talk. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a pocket dimension. The laws of physics may not even work
Yeah.
the same way there. Have you not watched Doctor Who? Damn it! Oh man, let me see what we got here. But anyway, what this has done is makes this feel like the sky's the limit with what can come. What we got here? Used to drive to comic shop after the school. Mr. Trip scene was great. Okay, what we got here? Let me see what we got here. Yeah, hopefully we'll pull from Superman's actual rogue gallery, Metallo, Brainiac. I've heard rumblings of Brainiac, but I don't know if it's wishful thinking or anything concrete. There was a dark scene when Metamorpho decided to help him after Lex killed that guy. That's what I'm saying. This was a comic book. I mean, this wasn't written like a comic book. I felt like I could tell when one issue ended and another one opened, and you get a lot of stuff that way. Can't believe they haven't done Brainiac in the movies yet. I hope they go with the silver one, the George Perez design from our Superpowers toys, the robot one. That's the one I want. I don't want the green guy. Okay, this version, Mr. Terrific, was introduced in the issue of the Spectre. Yeah, we talked about that. I hope those two are getting their royalties to it, John Ostrander and Tom Mandrick. Um, that's one of the things Josh said to me in a message. He was like, "The only bad thing is we'll never be able to afford
I'm
that issue."
never gonna be able to afford that Spectre issue now
And
because it just keeps.
yeah, like our buddy Anderson's got it. He's got the full. He's had the full. He's been waving the flag for the Spectre since it came out. So
On the
yeah,
bright side, just looked on Organic Price Books, and they are previewing, I think in October, that run from Ostrander gets its omnibus, and it's pretty affordable. So I'm probably
oh,
gonna snag that.
yeah. Anderson gave me some and a few like that. That's a great series. It
Yeah.
really is. It's a very overshadowed series of the '90s. I heard that Lobo's going to be in the Supergirl movie. I hope so because I got the Brave and the Bold, where I think it might be their first appearance, their first team up again. A Mark Waid, George Perez issue. Yeah. So yeah, I've got my doubts about that. So anyway, I'm vaguely just high pointing it so we could talk about things with the movie. I'm not giving the play by play per se. There's a lot of stuff in there. But what I liked about it is that we got like a little bit of the Batman TV show is what I felt like. Superman is going to go stomp. Lex Luthor's had it, right? Lex Luthor has Ultraman. He has a whole bunch of people in a room looking down on Metropolis where they're controlling Ultraman. And all of a sudden, Lex Luthor is just pissed off because people started loving Superman again. You know what I mean? And I can't really remember what changed that now off the top of my head, because it happened so quick. But all of a sudden, he decides to take that pocket dimension and open it up, and he's letting it go through the bay into Metropolis, and it's like, it's just tearing into the crust of the earth. It looks like,
Yeah.
people are dying, buildings are falling, and Superman's like, I feel better now. I'm gonna go. No, I've got it backwards. He has to choose between that or going and stopping the war, because now that Superman's out of the way, um, has been told, that guy's like, I'm going to start the war again, the war that Superman stopped months ago. This guy's decided that with they found out that Lex Luthor gave them $6 billion worth of weapons, but they only paid $1 billion for it.
Yeah.
And then and the whole plot of what Lex Luthor is trying to do is that he's going to get half of that country and turn it into a kingdom. And I'm sitting here like, that's a nod to the original Lex Luthor in the Superman movie, where he's a real estate mogul. You know what I mean? I was like, he wants land. That's funny. I got it. So Superman can either go stop the war and save millions of people from being killed, and they show all the people, the poor little country, they're coming out with their garden tools, and the little kids are out front holding up little pieces of yellow cloth.
Blocks. I think there's legitimately someone with like a cinder block or something.
Yeah, and it's Superman. It's Superman flags, and they're praying for Superman to come help them. The kids believe. And I'm like, why do you have them in the front of the war zone? Why are they at the border?
Yeah, like, can we talk about our frontline composition?
I mean, like I say, it's a great movie, but I'm not going to fanboy it. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Who lets the kids get out front? I don't care what third world country you are. You know what I mean? But anyway, and they're coming. They have all the weapons that Luthor gave them. So what is Superman going to do? Is he going to save the country, or is he going to go to Metropolis and keep it from the pocket dimension, swallowing up Metropolis or something and all that stuff, right? What does he do? He calls in his friends, the super friends. And this is where Guy Gardner got his shining moment. You want to take over here?
Yeah. So I can't remember. It's such a good line, and I can't remember it. Superman couldn't make it, so you got an upgrade. Is that what?
Yeah. He sent an upgrade, man. You got an upgrade, kid. And then he winks at him.
Yeah.
And I loved it because he was using the ring, but he was flipping over the tanks while he was walking, looking all cocky.
Yeah.
And if you looked real close, they were all middle fingers
going on. Yeah. It was pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah. His other great scene is when he got in Superman's face. That was the Guy Gardner that I remember from the comics. When it came out, where they were trying to say, was that message real about Clark? You were supposed to come here and burn
Your
us?
job's to take care of threats like you.
Yeah. He's like, that's my job. That's what the Guardians of the Universe. That's what we do. That's what they gave me the ring for. So you better watch your ass. I mean, right in his face. I'm like, yes. We're going to have to get the Batman one punch. We're going to have to get that. I'm wondering if Guy Gardner's going to get so popular that they won't do it. I don't know. But anyway, you don't know about the one punch, do you?
No.
All right. Would you like to know the one punch?
Yeah, go ahead.
The book's upstairs. Right. Wait a minute.
I was going to say, you're the one that had the time crunch, not me.
Is it in this? Oh, no. Okay. So anyway, Guy Gardner went from Crisis on Infinite Earths. He's actually been in a coma for years, and he's brain damaged. Guy Gardner was going to be the original Green Lantern. When Abin Sur crashed on the Earth and asked the ring to find a worthy successor, it actually picked Guy Gardner in Hal Jordan, and it went with Hal Jordan because he was closer. So Guy Gardner found this out and kind of drove his nuts a little bit. He ends up in a coma, and he comes out of the coma. The Guardians wake him up during Crisis on Infinite Earths, and he's a little brain damaged. So he's actually, and when people are brain damaged in my line of work, I've seen it. People automatically think vegetative state, like poor Bill Mantlo now and stuff. No, what also happens is that certain personality traits are turned up to 10 and they never come down. You know what I mean? So Guy Gardner is just turned up all the time and stuff, and he goes through Crisis, he goes through Legends, he gets in Hal Jordan's face, and Guardian, it gets in everybody's face, and like he's the chosen one. And then he ends up starting with the Justice League again of America, the Giffen stuff. because that book opens up and he's laid back, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be running this place before any of the heroes have shown up. He's got his feet up on a desk and he's got plans. And everybody keeps following Batman. So for a few issues, he's always getting in Batman's face or Batman's putting him in his place. He's like, I can take you. So he takes off his ring, and that's the cliffhanger. Guy Gardner and Batman are going to go at it. Like, and it had everybody talking. There was people who read comics in my middle school that I didn't know they read comics until this happened. And of course, they're asking, they come and ask me about it. And they were like, there's no way Guy Gardner can fight Batman. This needs to be a one-punch fight. It's like everybody knew it should have been a one-punch fight. That's the only time I've ever seen that kind of kismet in forever, right? So the book finally comes out. You go out and you get the book, and by God, Batman takes him out with one punch. Not only is he knocked out with his face down and ass up in the air, but Blue Beetle has his goggles are fogging up. He's got his hands up under his mask, laughing so hard he's crying. Black Canary's coming in going, oh God, I missed it. She's about to cry because she missed it. So they leave him laying there. They go off to fight the Gray Man or wherever they're at in this. I don't know. Anyway, they go to fight somebody and they leave him laying there. And he kind of wakes up trying to look where he's at, and a mouse bites his ass and he hits his head again or something. And for like about a year, he's Mr. Nice Guy. Like he is repulsively nice, where he's trying to give daisies to people. And he's like, look at those clouds. And then Lobo shows up. And Lobo, of course, comes up and knocks the shit out of him. And then the next that issue ends with another bump in the head. He's worse than he was. He's like, I'm back. And his ring is sparking. And he's got this big page. And the next issue, it's him and Lobo going at it. So, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that can come out of this. I'm like, I've wondered if that's in here about the Lobo stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, wait a minute. Yeah. Here's the page. That's the cover, for Lobo and Guy Gardner. And, oh, man, let me get through this. It's so worth it. And that's where he's back. He got another bump on the head, and we get our Guy Gardner back, and he's pissed off. And then that's the next issue. Guy Gardner has the upper hand. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm watching this movie, and I see things that can come. So I'm trying to get at why it's so good. So, yeah, they saved the day with the Justice Gang. They saved the country, of course. And then we have Superman. He gets to fight Ultraman. And Ultraman turns out to be what I thought was going to be Bizarro. It turns out it's a clone of Superman. But the thing about it is he's dumb as a rock, which is why Lex kept him covered up and playing other villains and stuff. And they have to put in
tell him what to do.
Yeah. Tell him what to do and how to fight. So you get a fight where he keeps getting his ass handed to him. And then, of course, Mr. Terrific, after he beats the clone version of himself, he's laying there like, oh, God. And Mr. Terrific looks over at him and is like, will you stop messing around and get off your ass and come help us? He's like, I'll be there in a minute. This is why you don't make pocket dimensions and stuff, right? So anyway, Mr. Terrific ends up being the one to save the day after Superman clears the room with all the scientists and gets in Lex's face and everything. But they need somebody that can hurry up and do the computer sequence to close the portal. And what I liked about it is that this one guy, everybody finally saw how crazy Lex was. And they were like, his own people are like, you want us to help you, Mr. Terrific? And he's like, I don't need your damn help. I'm Mr. Terrific. So he gets up there and he does his keyboard thing and he saves Metropolis and closes the portal and stuff. I don't remember what happened after that, man. I'm kind of blanking out now. It's been 2 weeks.
So that happens in Crypto attacks Lex. Because he puts his finger on Superman or something, and Crypto comes out of nowhere and just doesn't let him go. He's slinging him all around the office.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that reminded me of the Hulk getting a hold of Loki. So a little bit. And then what was the part where he was like, "Get toy"? They had cameras or something following him around. He told Crypto to get.
Yeah, that was right before then. Yeah, that's how they were seeing to tell him what moves to do. They were using the cameras to live stream it to themselves. So he takes them out.
Yeah. And
Lex,
then we can skip ahead there. We end up back at the Fortress of Solitude, and things are kind of fixed. He fixes the robots in number 4 and all this stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, who's he talking to? Somebody was talking to somebody. I guess it was the robot.
yeah, number
Super
4,
robots.
George,
Yeah.
or whatever he wants to be called.
Yeah. But somebody had asked him about, you have a dog, Superman? He was like, it's more of a foster situation. I
Yeah.
didn't know where they were going with that, right? So it turns out Crypto is owned by Supergirl, who at the very end pops up and she's hung over and she's got a trench coat on with her costume on. She's like, where's my dog? And Crypto goes running over there, and Crypto's so rough with her, she's laughing while he smashed her into the ground playing with her. And I loved how Superman was like, that's why this dog has behavior issues. There's no boundaries.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, it's like, oh my God, this is where the problem comes from. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I saw the 2 actresses they had to pick up from for Supergirl, and I feel like they went with the wrong one. So do you know this Supergirl actress? I know she's been in some show. She
No,
has
I'm
her
not.
fans. I think they went with
I
the
will
wrong.
say, was not digging how her character sounded. I'm not saying that I'm going to dislike
Yeah.
wherever it goes with her, but I did not like her personality. I don't think.
Yeah, whoever he was talking to, he said that she likes to go off on planets with red suns, meaning she has no powers, so she can party. You know
Just
what I
get,
mean?
yeah.
You get drunk and party and go space clubbing and stuff. And I swear, if this ends up being like some kind of freaking Paris Hilton bullshit, I know they're supposed to be doing it off of Supergirl in the World of Tomorrow by Tom King, which is a big strike. So I'm really hoping we don't get a misfire right out the gate. I'm not big on the actress, the other one. I can't remember her name. It's been over a year, but I think they went the wrong one. I don't know. Maybe she played a better whatever Gunn or whoever's wrote this movie has in mind. Maybe they're playing. I'm thinking the actress I like played Supergirl, and whatever this is going to be more of a Paris Hilton rich party girl kind of thing because she's tormented. She's had a rough,
Yeah.
she remembers Krypton and Kal-El was a baby, so of course she's got to be messed up.
Trauma.
Yeah, I'm really hoping we're not going to get that. So I have that first issue of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, or whatever it is, stuff. I couldn't get through it. I don't care how many people like Tom King. That was unreadable. The art, I feel so sorry for the artists, man. We know how my Adam Strange thing, when it killed my channel, I burned it so bad. Oh, am I talking too much, man? You got me on a roll
No,
here.
you're good.
And for everybody that wants to know, when we're driving, this is what it's like. So if Josh can handle it, here we go. Man, we got all kinds of stuff again. Do we want to go through the comments, Josh?
Yeah, go ahead. We'll wrap it up right after that.
Okay. What is it, Lester? Can y'all hear my cat? I have a very codependent cat. Daggone it. Okay, let me go. All right. Jason Momoa's Lobo is perfect casting when Aquaman wasn't. It was odd having him as Aquaman, but I'm like everyone else. Everybody thought Lobo that knew comics. I love they used the original Superman theme just on electric guitar. That made it hit harder using that. There is a guy on YouTube who did the John Williams Superman theme years ago, and he did the Doctor Who theme. But this kid, I can't think of his name, but all you have to do is put in something like Superman versus metal, Doctor Who versus metal. He would take these theme songs and do metal versions of them. And that's where I thought they pulled that from. That's probably like a 12-year-old video now. And I have the little 45 record of that. That theme song makes me a little emotional if you play it just right. You know what I mean? At a right moment in the movie, just from nostalgia. Okay, what is this? I was a fanboy for the new Superman. It was the best since first 2. Yeah, I've actually, as bad as the Quest for Peace was and stuff like that, I've actually liked all the Superman movies. But the Donner cut of Superman 2 is something you've got to see, just to be a completist. Superman 2, both versions are fine, but that Superman 2 Richard Donner's cut, that was cool. Lester, come on over here. Stop being so dramatic. I got on a James Gunn kick and rewatched the first movie, Slither. I have not watched that since it came out as a rental back in the 2000s. Did you see Slither with all the red worms? You
Yeah.
got to check it
I think
out.
I know what I've seen trailers. I've just
Get over
never
here. Sorry,
actually
guys. Come on. Get out of there. Come on. Come on. No, come on. Yes, don't know me. Oh, oh. Sorry about that. He was over here like clawing my wall, my door frame.
He's like,
He
come
does
on. He knows you went over your time limit. That's what it is.
that. I'm good, man. But Slither's worth watching. I had fun with it. He also had a movie with Rainn Wilson from The Office, and oh god, the chick that whatever, she transitioned recently to Elliot. Anyway, she was in it also, and it was like this dude who lives in a house by himself, and he decides to be a hero. So he puts on a red suit and he uses a wrench, and when somebody's being like there being a butthole, like in the line of a movie theater or something, he'll run around the corner, put it on, walk right up to him, and hits him with the wrench. I mean, it's great. I have it in the other room, but I swear I think it's called Hero or Superhero or something. He totally got the Giffen, DeMantis, McGuire's Guy Gardner. In his humor, when I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought he was pulling from Legion 89, Legion 90. There was things he did where I could tell he read comic books, and I have always felt there was a little Giffen in him. Keith Giffen also co-created Rocket Raccoon. So, I think we have found out that James Gunn is a Keith Giffen fan. There's a smirk on Martian Manhunter's face after that punch. Oh, that's right. In the comic book, everybody was glad to see Guy punched. I'm telling you, Lex was a chew toy. Lester, come on, man. Yeah, it's like having a little kid, man.
I know.
Alan Tudyk was number 4. He's always great. Mr. Nobody on Doom Patrol. Oh, that's good call, Smotlock. Doom Patrol, the TV show, is what he's talking about. Mr. Nobody was a Grant Morrison character that was in the Dadaism and reality. It's an interesting character. Now that makes so much sense. Queso and Candor, Rogue One, and of course, Wash on Firefly. Oh my God. Firefly was Nathan Fillion and Josh Whedon's TV show in the 2000s that everybody wished they got another season of, at least. There has to be a time travel story for a future sequel where they can explore Superboy and Smallville and the Legion of Superheroes. I think the sky's the limit. If he's going by the comics, we're bound to have them mentioned or seen. Supergirl and Brainiac, 5 of the Legion, are a couple. I haven't read the Supergirl comic, not a Tom King fan. I wish Gunn just wrote Supergirl from scratch. The good thing about James Gunn is that he has said that he has turned down several projects because if the script's not good, he's telling people it's not good. We're not moving forward with this. Josh, jump in here anytime, man.
Oh no, you're good.
I stopped reading Tom King after Batman and Catwoman. Super, gotcha. Yeah. I've always known he was a big comic fan. I'm just glad I can hone in on what era. You're not the only one. I totally thought that Giffen's Legion 89 when I saw the first Guardians film. Yeah. The first 26 issues of that Legion 89 are classics. After that, it's that world, but Giffen's not. Alan Grant and Giffen aren't really touching them. Lobo pops up. Burl Dox pops up. I don't want to go on a tangent here and stuff because very few, Legion and Legion of Superhero fans were a very niche group. If we find each other, we can talk forever, but it's like gibberish to everybody else where there's so many characters and connections and history and stuff. Yeah. I finally got the Legion cartoon from the 2000s on Blu-ray, both seasons of it. So basically, you would say go see Superman again, right?
Yes, good recommend. The ending scene, being someone who was not raised by like my biological parents, really resonated. I'm a sucker for a moment like that. I thought that was really good how they tied that together from the beginning. The robots like it comforts him, and it's completely different footage of. I don't know. I thought that was a great ending. I'm excited to see where it goes as someone who likes the DC universe more than the Marvel universe.
So if nobody knows what Josh was talking about with the ending, at the beginning of it, when Superman is hurt and the robots fix him, they play his Kryptonian parents to comfort him. At the end of the movie, when he wants to be comforted, it's all Ma and Pa Kent, man.
Yeah.
Every bit of it, and it'll get you. That's actually what I think got me in the movie. I think
Yeah.
that's where they got me a little bit. That was a perfect ending. His real parents, is the way what they were going for, man. So it's a great start. And like I said, what I like about the Superman movies that it was the exposition. This is just a couple days in the life of a superhero in the DC universe. We just saw this world for a few days. You know what I mean? Of course, Metropolis is about to get destroyed. Of course, Superman's going to go save lives. Oh, we got the Justice Gang over here. You know what I mean? We got the Creature Commandos going on over here. This is it reminded me of the Dread movie of 2012, where that whole movie,
Such a good
as
movie.
wild as it was just a day in the life.
Once is it? Yeah.
That's just the case.
Yeah.
We'll see you at work tomorrow. Sorry you got all those bullet holes in you there, Dread, but we'll see you tomorrow. Wouldn't have it any other way. You know what I mean? So, what scum are we going to go get off the streets tomorrow?
And that's why I guess I have a little more faith in where DC's headed, even if I don't have all the knowledge that you have. It's just like, I kind of trust Gunn in a lot of ways. Not that, I just feel like Marvel is kind of went in so many different directions. I'm not excited about the Fantastic Four movie. I will probably go watch it.
Uh-huh.
But I do not have high hopes. I do not have high hopes like I do for DC.
They've done some reshoots, and that's and I don't think that's a big secret, so it shouldn't be one of those things like, haha, they had to fix the movie. That's what reshoots are for. Um, but that Marvel has lost their way. There's no way of denying that. You know what I mean? But the reason I think the Gun stuff is going to be successful, and I'm not, and there's different levels of successful, is that they've dodged what Sony tried to do with their own Spider-Man movies. That's why we got two of them with the Amazing Spider-Man. They've dodged what Snyder originally was sort of trying to do a little bit, is that they're not trying to use the Marvel movie formula where we introduce the hero and then we'll build up to another hero, then we'll have a team, and then we'll
Yeah.
have the big crisis and try to do all that stuff, and we'll make sure we have our little endings at the post-credit scenes to lead us to the next movie. No, no, no. He's just like, this universe is established. Here's a bunch of heroes. We're going to have different tones. This is, what I mean. It's like each movie can be a little bit different because they're not trying to build to end game. You know what I mean? There will be a crisis to have all these heroes together,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's going to be its own thing. Is what I'm trying to get at.
When you talk about the Clayface is going to be like its own kind of aesthetic, its own kind of.
Rated R
I
horror
like that. I
movie.
like that. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. You can that way every movie doesn't have to feel the same. Marvel, when Disney got a hold of Marvel and stuff, the tone changed. But ironically, James Gunn's humor is the one they inserted in everything.
Yeah.
When they did Werewolf by Night, that one shot, that thing was great.
I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it, but it still had that James Gunn humor in it. They messed up the tone. So when we get Clayface, the way they're talking, it's going to have a different tone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's well, so we'll see if they're going to deliver on what they're telling us. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to get at. I think it's going to be good because, like, if you don't like one movie, wait another minute. You might like how we
You'll
did
be
this
fine.
one.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not as worried about the Supergirl movie. I'm like, well, if that one's just not for me, that's just not for me. But
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like I have to watch everything to understand. That's another thing about the Marvel thing. It's just so much.
yeah.
People only have so much time. It's hard to digest everything.
Hey, those first, what was it, 33 Marvel movies validated everything. They got formulaic. With by the time they got to Ant-Man and Doctor Strange, you saw the formula of the hero.
Yeah.
We get our origin, you get your bad guy, he wins. It was the same story there for a little bit. But yeah, with Eternals and on, they lost their way. Three good movies. And there's people who are hardcore fans and love those movies. But we're also old enough, Josh, when you think about it, those movies started in 2007. There are actual kids who grew up with those movies, so
Yeah.
they're
Totally.
sacred to them.
Yeah.
They're sacred. The Marvel stuff is sacred to them. So, still no excuse to just gobble up anything they put out. Let's this Thunderbolts was a great best Marvel movie in a while. It was a step in the right direction. My wife loved it. My wife and stepkid loved it. I was like, that's a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, that's better. Now, so what you were talking about, the Fantastic Four movie, I knew I was going to end up seeing it. We went and watched a movie 2-3 months ago. I don't even remember what the movie. Oh, bound to be like a Jurassic Park movie. I don't know. But anyway, we went and watched the movie, and they had the Fantastic Four trailer in it, and I was just sitting here like a little underwhelmed. Pedro just takes me out of it. He just, and then I see that female. I know it's Shelley, but that's not the Silver Surfer. You know what I mean? They
That's
could
what
have used. They could have used Nova. That's my thing. You could have
my
went with
life was
Nova.
saying too. He's like, I love the actual character. I don't understand why they went with that.
Yeah, but there's Nova. They could have went with Nova. There's already a golden metallic skin female. They wanted to go that way. But then I looked over, and the step kid had his eyes like, oh wow, and the wife was like, oh
Remember,
yeah,
it's not always for us. Yeah,
yeah. And I'm sitting here going, oh shit, I want to end up seeing this movie. And I just posted a little 5-minute video I shot in my backyard while I was in the woods working. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to see this. And a week later, we go to the movies, and I'm like, oh shit. Oh man, Terex the Tamer. But hopefully, I've got right here in the floor. I've had Fantastic Four comics from the stepdads as a kid. I don't remember not having them. I watched the 70s cartoon series. I love the 90s cartoon series. I even liked the Roger Corman movie, even though they were trying to be Tim Burton a little bit in that movie. I couldn't stomach to go see the one that came out with 10 years ago by the dude that did Chronicle. And I loved Chronicle, that one. And I was sort of fine with the two Fantastic Four movies from Fox, but the second one, they nailed the Silver Surfer. They actually improved some of his powers, the way he could go into the board and then come out of it. I was like blown away. So, yeah. Let me see here, man. That Burn Rock Fantastic Four, some of the best comics ever. I just rebagged those about a month ago, finally. I got two. What's so funny is that the comics they pulled Herbie out from and stuff. I've had my copies since I was like 6 or 7. The stepdad was a Fantastic Four fan, so I'm sitting here like they finally tapped some of that. Oh, I need to loan you some
That's
John
what I was
Byrne.
gonna say. That's right. Marching
I'll do
orders.
it. Yeah, nice. Yeah, the Byrne stuff is classic. It's definitely worth getting. The Galactus story, the Doctor Doom stuff he did, the Negative Zone stuff. He was building to something big. He would reference stories. He was on it for like 5 or 6 years, and he would reference stuff that he did at the beginning, and you start realizing he had a plan. It was really good. So what else are you excited about coming, man? I'm
I think that'll be our next conversation. It'll probably be how that movie goes.
okay.
So I'm anxious to come back and talk to you about that. Reading through some of the stuff that I've picked up. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. All right, man. Okay, so once you go ahead, and Dr. Doom was John's fave there. We got to wrap this up. But you want to plug your channel, plug your Instagram?
Yeah, so Zinc Age Comics. I'm going to try to start uploading, start doing more of these streams with Tim.
Start it all over again. Start it again. I've interrupted
Oh,
you
my
there.
bad. No. So yeah, Zinc Age Comics is the channel. I'm going to try to start uploading more, try to do more of these streams with Howler Mouse. I appreciate all you guys hanging out with us as long as you did.
And if you're watching in the future, man, make sure you comment, thumb it up, subscribe to Zinc Age Comics there, and tell Josh you want more of them in the comments or something, or talk about the books he brought up or something, man. Make it about Josh in the comments.
Yeah, I'll always take book recommendations.
Yeah, we'll work out something where we get you a few Byrne Fantastic Four there to check out, man.
Awesome.
Man. All right, guys. Thanks for everybody that's popped in. We got a ton of people here now, man. So make sure you watch on we just got an extra viewer, man. Make sure you watch on the rewind. Josh, man, always a pleasure, brother. Now stick around when we go off line here.
All right.
Okay. Later, everybody. Be excellent. Read your comics.
Thank you, guys.